I'm honestly sick of all of the BS surrounding health and pain and movement. We've seen so many people in pain who've been told to stop running, stop lifting, and stop moving. They've been taught to fear their bodies and fear movement when movement is the one thing they actually need more of. We've spent years teaching people how to get out of pain and get back to doing the things they love. And what we've learned is most people don't need fixing. They need clarity. They need to be taught what their diagnosis actually means, and they need a personalized plan to help them meet their goals. There's so much noise out there about health. I decided to stop getting angry about it and start putting the right noise into the world. And that's what the Made to Move podcast is. Some episodes are about pain and injuries. Some are about how to improve your health. Some are about what it actually looks like behind the scenes to build a different kind of healthcare. So if you want to understand your body, get out of pain, and take ownership of your health, and see what it looks like when a bunch of physical therapists try to change healthcare, this podcast is for you. Because we were all made to move. So a little over 3 years ago, one of my patients walks into the clinic and he says, "Hannah, you better be ready because AI is going to take your job." So at the time, I guess ChatGPT had just been announced and everyone thought AI was going to replace doctors, replace PTs, and we were all just going to get our physical therapy and healthcare from a robot. And maybe one day that'll be true. I personally cannot think about that without my mind imploding. But the ironic part is that same patient's favorite exercise was talking and yapping with me, a human and not a robot. But since then, in the last 3 years, there's obviously been a ton of progress and a lot of changes with AI. Fortunately, we do all still have our jobs, so I will keep you updated. But in this episode, I want to talk about 3 things: why healthcare feels so broken, what AI can actually help with, and where I draw the line. So right now, a lot of people use AI just like they use Google or YouTube, as a search engine. What's wrong with my shoulder? Knee pain exercises for runners. And if you don't already know this, 1, I think there's a better way to use AI. And 2, a lot of the information on the internet is wrong or confusing or not personalized to you. So that's probably not the best use of AI, just asking it knowledge-based questions. But I am admittedly pro AI for a lot of other things. I actually was at a friend's wedding a few weeks ago, got into an argument with the person sitting next to me about AI. She was very anti-AI. And for me, as a physical therapist, a human, and a business owner, I do think that AI has the ability to massively improve healthcare if we use it correctly. I also think it's going to be a huge part of our modern society, no matter what. So we might as well learn how to use it the right way and for the right reasons. There are a lot of problems in modern healthcare, and I think if we use AI the right way, it could actually restore what we've lost, which is human-to-human interactions and doctor-patient relationships in healthcare. I will say some background. A lot of these problems are due to the fact that our healthcare system is built to cater to these publicly traded for-profit insurance companies, not the human in front of them. So this creates these massive downstream effects that ultimately hurt the patient, they hurt the clinician, and I think AI is moving way faster than our healthcare system ever will. I think healthcare reform could take decades. Meanwhile, AI is already capable of solving a lot of the problems that this insurance creates downstream. So rather than waiting for change that might never come, I think AI has the potential now to solve some of the biggest problems healthcare faces today. One of those biggest problems is the massive admin burden. From both a time and a financial perspective, there's a ton of resources spent writing notes, submitting claims, billing, and communicating with insurance companies, all just to get paid for the work done. And this admin burden results in less one-on-one time with patients, clinician burnout, and poor outcomes. So, okay, Hannah, why does this matter? So in hospitals and traditional insurance clinics, there's entire billing departments, and they have to spend a ton of resources on admin so that they can get paid for their work. The doctors and the clinicians have to write extensive notes. There's billers, and they have to spend a lot of time justifying and communicating with insurance companies. They have to spend a lot of time submitting claims. I don't know if y'all have seen those videos on social media of doctors and surgeons in the middle of surgery on the phone trying to get their patients' surgeries and treatments approved by insurance. And I think that that is a huge problem and definitely not the highest skill task that that doctor could be doing. And I also guarantee no one goes to school for medicine to sit behind a computer writing notes or begging for reimbursement. Really, the core issue here is that healthcare is not currently direct to consumer. The patient is not paying you. The patient does not decide your worth. Insurance does. We have this middleman. It would be like if you went to get your haircut and the hairstylist has to call some random third party and say, hey, Hannah wanted a bob. I would never want a bob. I trained for this cut for years. She loved it. It took this amount of time. Will you pay me? And that company says, yeah, but we're paying less for bobs this year. So now the entire business model, her whole financial structure has to change because she's at the mercy of the insurance company and what they decide to pay her. So now this hairstylist is spending her valuable time and resources trying to get paid from someone who didn't even experience the service and who hasn't even trained for this service. So that's what's happening in healthcare and in insurance companies, especially now insurance is denying more claims than ever. So these clinics and these hospital systems have to hire billing staff, they have to increase expenses, and they have to force doctors and therapists to see more patients. So it's a volume game, which often means the quality of care decreases, outcomes get worse, clinicians are burnout. I know PT clinics that see 4 patients, 4 every 45 minutes to 1 PT. So then it's like, are we really providing amazing care? And also who's treating the patients? Because it's not the PT, it's aides, it's techs, it's students and free labor like we were on rotations. So then outcomes get worse, burnout skyrockets, and these clinicians either emotionally check out, they leave the model, decide not to take insurance, or they leave the profession entirely. So we choose not to take insurance for these exact reasons. We work direct to consumer, and that means if the patient thinks we're valuable, they pay us. If they don't, they don't. It creates accountability, it creates relationships, it creates quality. But even in our model, there's obviously still admin. We still take notes. But I would argue admin is never the best use of our clinicians' time. And so that's where AI comes in to solve this admin problem. So here's the hard line. I don't think AI should replace the human. I think that the human should learn how to use AI. I think that we can be partnered with AI. I've been hearing a lot of talk about digital twins, and I think that this could be amazing. I think it could help so many people. It's super valuable in really complex cases, high-risk cases, or cases where healthcare isn't accessible. But I don't think we should ever fully surrender decision-making and doctor-patient interactions to the digital twin. I also think there's a high chance insurance companies are going to try to use this against people. And I don't think that it can replace the complex physical and emotional human being. I don't think AI should replace human-to-human connection, but it can give us more capacity for this connection. So when I think about what are all the things our clinicians spend time doing other than one-on-one time with patients, and how can we help them spend less bandwidth, energy, and time on those things so they can spend more of that with their patients? It's not efficiency for efficiency's sake. It's about saving our energy and our brain for, in my opinion, the more important tasks. So let me give you some examples. So before I get into this, tools like ChatGPT are not HIPAA compliant, which means we cannot paste patient names or records into them and treat them like they're a part of the official care record. What is happening, though, is that companies and healthcare systems are building HIPAA-safe versions of AI. So I think in 2026, we're going to see a lot of progress with AI and HIPAA. But if you're a clinician, you should not be putting any protected health information into an AI model unless it's HIPAA compliant. So you can say a runner with knee pain, hypothetically. You cannot say John Smith, born May 5th, 1995, that's my birthday, is struggling with knee pain. So you just need to be careful when you're putting in this information. There are some HIPAA compliant AI tools out there. So we use an app called Claire to help with our notes and documentation. She's HIPAA compliant. And so when we have permission to use her from the patient, she listens during the session, she takes the note, and she creates our documentation. And we still review it, but when the session ends, our admin time is minimal. And we're also not spending precious one-on-one time in the session thinking about the note or writing or typing or thinking about how do I phrase this in a complete sentence. that saves bandwidth because our brains are not good at multitasking, is whatever you want to say. They're just not. And we have to make thousands of decisions every single day. And I would so much rather spend those decisions on what does this patient really need? What am I really hearing that they're saying? What questions do I need to ask this patient? What exercise do I want to see? What do I think about their prognosis and their diagnosis? Like, focusing on the patient is challenging enough. Now I have to take notes. So this allows us to be way more present and we don't have to sacrifice anything, and quality of care goes up. From a patient perspective, this allows your clinician to be fully focused on you. They're fully listening. They're thinking about what you're saying. They're not distracted. They don't even have to look at their computer, and they're watching your every move. Now, from a physical therapist perspective, imagine this. Imagine no late nights finishing notes, no splitting focus mid-session, no catching up on notes on the weekends. So if you're a clinician listening to this and you're spending a lot of time on admin, I guarantee there is a way for AI to help you spend less time and less brain power on admin. Claire is a great HIPAA compliant example of that. So another way AI specifically could help our clinic is program creation. So we give all of our patients a program to complete outside of their sessions to help them make more progress. So imagine talking out the program to the patient. These are your exercises. I want you to do 4 sets of 12. I want you to be thinking about this. If you feel this, change this. Like, I'm talking so much and explaining so much. Imagine if AI could actually build that program as you're talking. And now me, the PT, I'm not having to tippy-tappy on my computer during our session or when the day is done, because AI has taken everything that I've said, and now the patient gets the brain of the PT basically in their pocket and gets to take the PT's thoughts home with them. And I think this allows the patient to get so much more support in between sessions. And then on the PT perspective side, the physical therapist gets more energy, more brain space, and just more time actually interacting one-on-one with patients. Because what's more valuable? Thinking about the program, designing the program, explaining the program to the patient, making sure they understand it, they can be compliant, or spending the time to type it out into complete sentences. It would be hype right now if AI could take my notes in my program and actually put that into the app that we use. I think that's coming. But for now, I can talk this program out to AI and I can say, hey, organize my thoughts, form complete sentences, and put this in language that my patient will understand so it actually makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do this live. So I'm going to talk out the exercises and I'm going to tell ChatGPT what I want my patient to do, what I want them to feel, and what I want them to be thinking about, how often I want them to do it. So I'm going to talk it out based on a patient that I saw this morning. Okay, so can you help me build a program in patient-friendly language? I'm a physical therapist and I want to send them exactly what they should be doing and what they should be focusing on. So I want this person to do a heels elevated wall squat. I want them to do 8 reps, but I only want them to go down as far as they can until they start feeling pressure. So I'm okay with a little bit of discomfort, but I don't want that to be pain. So we might need to limit their range of motion. So they're going to do 8 of those squats. And on the last one, I want them to bring their feet in a little bit more forward. I want them to bring their feet in a little closer to the wall. And then they're going to squat down until they feel some pressure in their knees, their quads working, and they're going to hold it for 20 seconds. I want them to do that for 3 sets. And I want them to do that, I think, starting with twice a week, but I do want them to let me know how they feel tomorrow. And that way I can tweak this if I need to. And then the other exercise, I want them to do a banded plyometric in a split stance. So one foot's going to be in front of the other. And I want them to think about keeping their chest up and really bending their knee. So not bringing their torso forward and their hips back, but keeping chest up and bending their knee. I want them to do 20 reps of that. Can you write all this out for me in a way that I can email it to my patient? This is my favorite way to use AI, meaning talking it out. It saves me so much time and energy because I don't have to type now. Okay, so here's a clean, patient-friendly version. You can copy paste straight into the email. Notice I didn't have to tell them, anything else about my patient. Okay, below are the 2 exercises I'd like you to focus on right now. The goal is to gently load your knees and quads in a way that builds strength and confidence without pushing into pain. That's perfect. So it says heels elevated wall squat. It gives them instructions and it tells them the reps. It tells them the sets. This is all on my phone. and it tells them how often, how this should feel. Based on how you respond, we can adjust. We're not trying to push anything, not trying to push through anything. We're trying to build this up intentionally and progressively. This is honestly a lot of words. What I'd probably do now is say like, make this a little less words, like more concise, because like no one's going to read this. So now that allows me to not have to spend time on my computer, because typing that out, and y'all know, like typing things out versus just talking things out takes a lot more energy, in my opinion, at least, because I am used to just like talking all day, because you have to form that in complete sentences, and you got to use proper grammar, and you got to punctuate things. Like AI can do that for me. And that's a very, very simple way. Like the AI people that like, it's your job, you're listening to this and you're probably like, this is the easiest way to use this. There's so many more advanced ways to use that, but that's just an idea. So you can press play now. Another way AI can help us all that we should already all be using is preparing for our sessions. So it's the morning before my patients. I'm preparing for what I'm going to be doing in the session and what I want to make sure to look at. This also might seem small, but again, if I can talk things out and AI can organize it for me, and then I can copy and paste that into my note, I can do this while I'm driving. I can take a walk and do this. And now when it's 2 p.m., I'm 5 patients in and my brain hurts. I don't have to remember what did I say this morning at 9 a.m.? It's already in my note. It's a reminder. So again, pull up the dictation feature that allows you to just chalk it out, give it context. And then if you have 5 patients, send me this labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is what I want to do today. This is what I want to ask my patient. These are the exercises I want to review. And then here's some potential next steps. Organize this for me in typical SOAP note order. So AI will organize, what happened last session, what the plan is today, what's going on in their life. And so now I can copy and paste that into my note. So it's already there. AI didn't have to touch my note. It didn't do clinical reasoning. I just took my word vomit and I literally just organized it. Like anytime I need to send an email or a long chunk of text, I am pulling up the dictation ChatGPT feature and I say, here's all my thoughts. Here's what I want to make sure to get across. Here's what I want to say. Can you organize this in a way that actually makes sense to the patient? Like, it's so easy. And now I actually have the benefit of, one, being super prepared for my sessions. I'm not going to forget what I wanted to do with my 4 p.m. patient. And 2, a sneaky benefit, talking things out forces you to think and analyze your thoughts. So with or without AI, I was talking things out in my car in 2020 before this existed. So talking things out for me is, again, just way easier than typing it out. These are just some ideas and some ways as clinicians and just as people in general, we can start using AI to help deliver better care, have our clinicians be more prepared, have more energy and bandwidth, and spend more time connecting one-on-one with less distractions. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day about AI, and what he said was crazy. He was like, I think AI actually gives us more capacity to be human. And basically what he was talking about is that like way back when like the Industrial Revolution was a thing, we were all basically learning like how to be machines and like how to complete tasks and how to check off tasks and things like that. And robots can do that now. And so he was saying like, I think that we need to really think about how we can use this technology to allow us to do the unique things that only humans can do. So some people are like, oh, AI is dehumanizing. I think it's the opposite. I don't think that this dehumanizes healthcare. I think it allows us to be more human, because I don't want to be decision fatigued from admin. I want to use my decisions on things that actually help people, the person in front of me. And as humans, we have a hard time remembering things. We can only remember so much and we can only make so many decisions. So it's like, how can I use AI to help me make less decisions so I have more brain power on the big decisions that matter? For things that are important to me, I have to set a reminder. I'm sure you do too. Sometimes I schedule messages. I schedule emails. I put things on my calendar because it's so important to me that I want to remember. And so I cannot expect myself or our therapist or you to remember every important thing But AI can help with that. So then you can spend the time with your patient because you've remembered the important things, and you can actually have a better relationship with them and show them that you care more. I think AI can help remove the invisible admin burden that keeps clinicians from being fully present. And I think when used responsibly, AI doesn't replace human connection. I think it protects it and it enhances it. We should use AI only if it allows us to be more human and to spend more one-on-one time connecting with a person, not with our computer in front of us trying to type while we're doing it, but computer aside, just focus on the person in front of us. And I really think people are already craving more human interaction after COVID. You know, we're all working remotely. We scroll on screens all day. We're very in tune with strangers' lives online. And I think that we are all needing more of that real community and real people, feeling seen, knowing other people deeply. And I think that this technology, as it advances, can allow us for more of that. But I also think it's going to make us crave human-to-human interaction even more, because I think we're going to be using robots for everything. Like so many parts of your day to day are now going to be robots. And I think that human to human interaction will just be even more rare. I can tell you that I can spend 2 hours on my phone scrolling and I feel like trash after that. Or I could spend 2 hours talking with a friend or connecting with a friend. So I either watched a stranger's life behind a screen or I just connected one-on-one with someone. And I am so much happier and healthier when I do that. I think so much more of our time is about to be spent behind the screen. We are going to be so desperate for human to human interaction. And really, like, when is the last time that someone who barely knew you, who spent 15 minutes with you, was able to have a massive influence on you and your health? Never, just never. They don't know you and you don't know them. So anytime someone says, I really like my doctor, it's interesting because the reason why, what they always say, well, she's really personable. You know, she never makes me feel rushed. I feel like she really cares about me. She spends time with me. She seems interested in me. She personalized it to me. And you cannot do that in 15 minutes. You just cannot. And the standard now for a good doctor, we just want a relationship. We just want to feel seen. We want them to know us. And naturally, you know, humans are designed to care about other people. I think the worst healthcare experiences are when you feel rushed, dismissed, not listened to, passed off, like your doctor doesn't care, your doctor doesn't know you. And unfortunately, a lot of that is because of the system and because not a lot of doctors and clinicians are in a system that allows them to spend time with you. And their bandwidth is spent seeing 15 to 40 patients a day. Meanwhile, we have research that shows in physical therapy specifically, you are more likely to get a good outcome if you like your physical therapist. You are more likely to get out of pain if you like your physical therapist. So then that makes me think, okay, how do we get more people to like us? How do we be more likable? We talk to the patient. We genuinely care about the patient. We learn about the patient. We form a relationship with them. We remember things. It kind of sounds more like a friend, right, than a doctor. It's collaborative. You know, you're not there to judge them. You're there to help them. And so we know that having a real relationship with our patients improves their health and pain outcomes. It's one of the strongest predictors that our patients will get better. It's also just like way more enjoyable. So that means we have to do everything in our power to build this relationship. And I think AI can improve our ability to have relationships with patients. And I think that this can massively improve the outcomes that we get patients. So if you're a patient listening to this, you deserve to be listened to be seen, to be known, to have your goals taken seriously, to be treated like a human. And if AI helps give us that, we will use it. And to clinicians, if you refuse to adapt at all to this, you will burn out. And if you blindly chase AI for speed and profit, you will sacrifice the thing that matters most, which is the relationship. I think the clinician of the future that I would want to hire understands and knows how to use technology as a tool, and also knows that building relationships is the non-negotiable skill. So when it comes to the future, I think in 5 years, picture a PT session. There's no laptop in the room. You're getting full one-on-one, a full hour. There's no note-taking during the session. Your program is sent to you immediately in your physical therapist's words, instantly, with a session summary delivered, probably pictures and videos, and the physical therapist can focus truly on you and not the notes they have to finish later. So to the healthcare system, The entity that profits off paying out as little as possible, they're in control of the system. So we can no longer be surprised or disappointed when healthcare continues to get watered down and outcomes suffer and insurance premiums skyrocket and claims are denied left and right. I think it's super frustrating, but we can't be surprised anymore. We have to do everything in our power to help our patients and control what we can control, which means whether you're in an insurance-based system or not, we should and we can be using technology to combat the effects of admin and to allow our doctors to be more human. I think AI can have a huge positive impact on healthcare if we use it to give us more time to be with our patients, provide patients with better access to high quality healthcare, and to improve our relationships with our patients. And I'm excited to see the progress that we make with this in 2026. So whether you're a patient trying to get better or a clinician trying to do this work without burning out, this is the future. This is what I think we should all be working towards.